Well, hello everybody. I'm L.A. Little, and this is the Neoclassical technical analysis site, TAToday.com. We're a little community of like-minded traders. They gather together around, they share views, trading ideas, neoclassical principles. To get the content, you just click on the monitor button here inside TA Today, and I'll shift this over so you can see it. You click on the monitor button. That allows you to see the content in the site. And if you're not logged in, or you don't have a login, just create one. You can get content 2 weeks delayed. As a member, you get it up front as it happens. You can read more about the site in the About Us, who we are, and you can join us if you want. I'm here today to go over something I talked about just 3 days ago, not that long ago actually, and that was a trade on the SOX. I'm going to keep trading this in this volatile market to show you how the Neoclassical works and how those setups can work for you. So let's take a look at what's here with this trade. The trade, if you remember, we traded it twice actually on the way down. When I put the last video out Sunday, I was talking about the fact that you needed to cover and potentially trade it back to the upside. So let's take a look at the SOX and see what it looks like here. So now Monday, when we were talking about this on Sunday, we were saying, hey, this thing has come down. And if you remember, basically what I said was, it's trying to turn, right? It's trying to get a bounce. And I was talking about these days here. These days over here had not printed yet. It's Thursday, the week of Thursday, so there's been 4 trades since then. But I essentially said that, if you had not covered the next bar, the next day was probably the day that you wanted to cover. And it actually gave you a good covering price if you took it. And then I said, you might want to flip around and try to trade this thing back to the top side. If you want to play it even safer, you just wait, let it pop up there, and then trade it back down again. So if you took that trade, all right, if you try to take that trade, you wait, you get a little bit more volume here, you see what happens, you come out the next day, and you try to jump this trade someplace on one of these 2 days and put your stop up underneath there. That was kind of what I talked about in the last video. If you did that, right, this thing actually went even farther than I expected. Well, not so much farther than I expected, but farther than I think I showed on the video. I think I showed this area here as kind of the target. That was probably the place that you want to start your short, and you want to trade that short up to the top third. It is within 6, well, actually, is it within 6 bars? Let me look here. So you got the breakdown here, be 2, 4, 5, yeah, 6 bars, it's back into it. So it gets back into it on a 6 bar. When you do it within 6, because we use time on neoclassical concepts, when you get back within 6, you're going to try and trade to the top third of whatever that width is of that retest regenerate. And so that's this area here, that's the top third. And so, by goodness, this thing did exactly what it was supposed to do, right? Trades right up to the top third. On a shoot back to the top side. Now, as we talked about before, even if you grab this thing at like 156 and you didn't even ride it all the way up, just ride it up about halfway, that's 156 to 68. You're talking about 12. You're talking about 8%. You're doing one of those 3-to-1s. You're pushing 20-25%. So these are good moves. When you have this kind of volatility in the market, you can play these moves. The move now, which is why I'm doing this video tonight, the move now is to turn around and do it the other way, which is what I suggested in the last video. So in other words, when you come into this retest regenerate, you want to put the short back on. Now here, you're not counter trend trading. Here we're counter trend, right, when we're trying to go up. The reason for that is the trend is down, it's not up. Now you're going to actually get with the trend, and you're going to try to trade it back down to downside. Now, if you're setting this up and you're trying to figure out, what kind of setup do I have here, you've actually got an ABCD structure to the downside now that's going to try and materialize, right? So there's your A, there's your B, and your C would be, your C is up there, and your D would be down here somewhere. It may or may not get down there. And the reason for that is it's already came a long way. And the general market is probably trying to set up, in my opinion, some sort of a range trade. And so I think what you do is you key on these bars and you say this is the area you're trying to get to on the downside. And so what you're trying to do is take this thing short and run it back to this area. Now if it does collapse and just keep going, well, you got an even better trade. But if it holds here and the volume starts to shrink again, then you probably just take your money and you can consider, although I wouldn't do it in this case now, the first bounce is the one you want to try and trade. The second one is a lot more iffy because you may, because you're counter trend, right? The first one you got a good shot on. The second one, it gets a little bit more iffy. The third one, very iffy. And so the ideal here is you trade it back in the direction of the trend so you're not counter trending it anymore. If it does turn around and bounce back up, then you measure how it does it and you consider doing another short to the downside. And so you just keep playing it in the direction of the trend. That's probably the last time I'm going to do a video on this. I'll do a video on something else next time. But I wanted to just bring you up to date with how this trade looks and what's happening. You had Apple report tonight. XLK is getting killed after hours. Folks, these are all set up the same way, right? XLK comes up, does what? Bearish retest, regenerate off this swing point low. Gets right to the top third, which is what you'd expect. What's it going to do tomorrow? It's going to try and regenerate to the downside. This is the one that you want to watch on the downside. If you get back up underneath here, get an extension down, you're going to see some pain in this sector. And you're going to see some pain in the NASDAQ and the NDX because they're heavily reliant on this technology sector. And so, you know, that's the test. That's the one you really want to watch. And if you're trading that SOX to the downside tomorrow or trying to put that on, this is where you're kind of looking while you're looking at your SOX and trying to decide where do you take your profits on the downside. I'm going to leave it at that this time. Again, I'm L.A. Little. This is the Technical Analysis Today site. And if you like what you see, please share it with a friend. There's buttons there on YouTube. You can hit them. You can pop it over and send it off to somebody else. You can also hit the like button and tell me that I'm doing good or not. I appreciate that. It gives me feedback so that I know if things are working here. All right. Have yourself a great one. I'll see you next time.